What's good, Commanders fans? It is draft eve. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. Of course, with the draft party, I should be there on Saturday at the National Harbor, but it is going to rain. So we'll see what happens with that. Let me know if you guys are going. I got to get down in the comment section below. But of course, I just want to get to some news that I've seen on social media and just, buzzing around. Of course, I'll talk about the Caleb Williams news that everybody has been talking about. But I do want to get into my mock draft. This mock draft I traded back, which is what Martin Mayhew sounded like he wanted to do in the draft media press conference that they just had. But Ben Stanek, this is from Ryan Fowler. He says, from what I've heard out of the building, they love Darnell Wright. He's the second tackle on their board from what I've been told, behind Paris Johnson from Ohio State. So Ben Stanek also mocked Darnell Wright. John Keim also mocked Darnell Wright. So it's really looking like the pick, if they stay at 16 and Darnell Wright is available out of Tennessee, the the right tackle who used to play left tackle, but he was better at right tackle, so he ended up playing right tackle. I think that Darnell Wright will be the pick at 16 if he's available and we stay at 16. Now, if we trade back, I'll get into that. But let's just quickly do the Caleb Williams talk. So what's his name? Albert Breer came up with an article on MMQB, which is Monday Morning Quarterback. I'll read the article, what he said. It was a quick little write-up that he had. Cool. He says, I and most teams would be very surprised if the Commanders took a quarterback, to the point where some have speculated the team could move capital into 2024 to ready for a run, then at DC area native Caleb Williams. You probably have to be the worst team in the league to get him, because whoever that team is probably won't trade his rights away. So also Albert Breer said he does not believe that the Commanders will take a quarterback. So like he said, that he'll be surprised if the Commanders take a quarterback. So there's definitely some holes in their speculation, or his speculation. Ron Rivera is not going to move draft capital back for next year. He shouldn't be doing anything for next year, because this is a do or die for him. This is a make or break season for him. If he does not make the playoffs, he will be fired, as he should be, by the new owner. The new owner did not hire him, so I don't blame the owner if they fire him anyway. He's been in this situation before with the Panthers, with David Tepper. When David Tepper came in and Ron Rivera, they lost to us right before Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. The Darius Geis game, and he got fired. So he knows the situation. He knows his seat is very, very hot this year. So he doesn't have time to fool around and trade picks back for next year. So he would be essentially helping out the new coach if he doesn't win games. So he's got to win games. Obviously, you got to have the first pick to get Caleb Williams. Maybe the first, maybe the second at the latest to get Caleb Williams, and we're not going to be that bad. He's always winning 7 games, 6 games, 8-1, 7-10, 7-9. That's just the kind of coach that Ron Rivera is. So we have seen some teams traded back. The Bears traded back with the Panthers from 9 to 1. At worst, I would see us getting like the 10th pick, like we did a couple years ago, or the 11th pick. I could see us getting that if Sam doesn't work out, which I do think he will. But at the same time, you have to be ready for growing pains with Sam. I am, because this will be his second start in the first game of the year if he does win the job, which I think he will once again. But yeah, this story, once again, it's just speculation. Caleb Williams is a great quarterback out of USC. DMV native. If we do get him, if the season goes awry and it's bad and we have a new coach, new GM, I wouldn't mind that if we're bad, but I don't see us being that bad. But that would be the ideal situation. If we're bad and we're like 3-14 or 4-13, and we somehow, some way get Caleb Williams, even 3-14, you probably would get the first pick. But that would be the scenario if we're bad and they fire Ron Rivera at the midway of the season. But I just don't see that happening, because the roster is good for one. And Ron Rivera, he's a mid-tier coach in my opinion. He just finds ways to go on that little winning streak in the middle of the season to get to 6 to 7 wins or 8 wins like he did the last 2 seasons. And the year that we made the playoffs to make it 7 to 10 as well. All right, so that's my thoughts on that. I just don't see it happening at all. Now the Eagles, they traded back with the Saints, and everybody was like, oh, they're going to give up on Jalen Hurts. They're giving Jalen Hurts this one season to make it happen. If it doesn't happen, then they loaded up for the ammo. They traded for like pick 16 for the Saints. They traded back and they loaded up on picks. And that's what Albert Breer is speculating, that the Commanders could do something like that with a trial run. See if Sam Howell doesn't, if Sam I.M. doesn't work out, then you have the picks loaded up to move up to get Caleb Williams. If you're like 6-11 or 5-12, you're just not bad enough to have that first pick of the draft. So we'll see on that. So let's get to the mock draft here. JP Finlay said that the Commanders really, really want to trade back. That's not a surprise at all. So this is the trade that I made. I used Pro Football Network. That's the mock draft simulator that I've been using for the most part. I traded, let's see here. I traded pick 16 with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I traded pick 16 for pick 24 and pick 56. So I got a pick in the second round, and I just moved a little bit back in the first round. So the first pick of the draft, at pick 24. The Washington Commanders select Anton Harrison, the left tackle out of Oklahoma. He is a DMV native as well. Of course, that doesn't really matter in the long run, but it is just cool to know. 6'4", 315 pounds. They did just have a top 30 visit with Anton Harrison. You look at some of the numbers and some of the statistics from him. He had a 85.6 PFF grade, which is the one of the best blocking grades by Oklahoma offensive tackle since 2016. He is a great pass blocking left tackle as well. Does need a little bit of work with his run blocking, but he's a heck of a pass blocker as well. We definitely could use. Now, the only thing is Charles Leno is here. So are you going to cut Charles Leno to start Anton Harrison? That's the question mark right there. Or would you have Anton Harrison play behind Charles Leno for 1 year, learn, and then cut Charles Leno after that season? So your first round pick, you don't want to have him sit behind on the bench his rookie season. But strengths for him: hands remain punch ready and protection, patient not to overset or overextend at the top of the rush, fires his hands with some pepper on them, finds full arm extensions to maintain feel for rusher, will find work when uncovered as well. Weaknesses: has trouble locating initial hands in the run game. So like I said, he's really good at pass blocking, but just needs some work in the run game for sure. All right, so in the second round with pick 56, with pick 47, the third round is 56. So with pick 47, I get Darnell Washington, the tight end out of Georgia. Darnell Washington, 6'7", 270 pounds. He did have a visit with the Washington Commanders, or he has talked to the Washington Commanders. He's like another offensive lineman out there. Had 28 catches for 454 yards and 2 touchdowns. Had a couple contested catches, man. This guy can really block like an offensive lineman. You see him out there throwing a bow when he's chipping guys. All he does is just throw that left arm, and he's knocking guys over. That's how strong Darnell Washington is out of Georgia. And watch the game against Oregon, the first game of the year. He does have some yak ability to him. He has a catch on the sideline. He hurdles over a guy against Oregon. He does that a lot. He does that a couple times trying to hurdle over guys. And this tight end roster, our tight end group, we just don't have any yak ability. We don't have a lot of athleticism other than really Armani Rogers. John Bates is a good blocking tight end at best. Logan Thomas is getting older and older and slower and slower. Who else is on it? Cole Turner. I like him a lot, but I just haven't seen it yet. Once again, he's a rookie. So we're just wishing and hoping on a lot of potential. I do think we could upgrade at the tight end position for sure. I think tight end is a need. Every mock draft I have is getting a tight end. So I do like Darnell Washington a lot coming out of Georgia. I think he's a darn good tight end. Looking at his blocking grade, he has a really, really high PFF blocking grade as well. He has an 80+ grade as a receiver and run blocker in 2022 per PFF. So Darnell Washington, I think that would be a good pickup. Logan Thomas struggled with run blocking last year and chipping and pass protection. I think Darnell Washington would be like another lineman out there, a versatile guy where we can scheme. It's not going to be obvious to tell whether we're running or passing the ball like it was back in the day with Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis out there. So I like Darnell Washington out of Georgia. So quickly we'll go the next pick. I picked a cornerback, Clark Phillips out of Utah, 6 interceptions on the season. He's a ball hawk, man. He just takes the ball away. Watch the game against Ohio State where he punches the ball out of Jackson Smith Enigma. He just doesn't give up on plays, too. So I like this guy. He takes the ball away. We don't have a lot of corners that take the ball away. Ben St. Juice doesn't really get interceptions. Kendall Fuller got a couple of picks towards the end of the year. But Clark Phillips is that dog. He can play man in zone, very versatile, fluid hips as well. Physical corner, can play press man, very versatile. So I like him a lot. 6 picks on the season. Had a pick 6 the year before. Had a good game against Jordan Addison as well, who's a top receiver in his class. So I like Clark Phillips out of Utah for sure. Let's see how tall Clark Phillips is. 5'9", so he's a little small, 184 pounds. Can play in the slot position as well, so I think he'd be a great pickup in the third round for the Washington Commanders. So let's move on to the last pick of the draft. Deion Henley out of Washington State. Chris Sims has him as his #1 rated linebacker. The reason why I like Deion Henley is because he's a coverage linebacker. He's a guy that can cover. We always struggle against tight ends, and I think Deion Henley would finally be the resolution to that problem for the Washington Commanders. He had an 87.3 coverage grade. Tackle rate was a 14%. Run defense grade was a 57.9, which is not good. Overall grade is 72.9. He's 24 years old, ran a 4.5 40-yard dash. Pretty darn athletic. 4 sacks on the season. 3 forced fumbles and 1 pick on the season as well. But he can run with tight ends. He can run with slot receivers at times. This guy can cover. He can move sideline to sideline. Had 106 total tackles on the season as well and 2 fumble recoveries. So I do like Deion Henley out of Washington State. Did go to Nevada. Did play wide receiver in high school. Did play a lot of quarterback as well. And I think that's a reason why he's really good in coverage because he played wide receiver before. So I think that really helps him out in coverage where he can move his hips and run with guys down the field. So I think he would definitely help out with this roster for sure. So those are my picks with trading back. You guys let me know what you guys think. You can give it a grade or whatever you guys you think that I should have took. I think Anton Harrison's a good pick, but at the same time, you just don't want him sitting behind Charles Leno. Are you going to cut Charles Leno? And Anton Harrison's not a guy that has a lot of position flex. He didn't play right tackle and left tackle or guard and center like Ron Rivera like. So those are my picks right there. All right, you guys let me know what you guys think. Health Commanders. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to try to go live during the day tomorrow. Maybe like 2 o'clock or noon, lunchtime live, something like that. And then once again, let me give you guys my prize picks for tonight too. I almost forgot. 100% deposit match. Use code REAL@Oliver. Put that down in the link link down below in the description box. You click that link, you put my promo code for prize picks. REAL@Oliver. You get 100% deposit match. So my picks for tonight is LeBron James getting over 42.5 points, rebounds, and assists. LeBron went bonkers with 20 boards against the Grizzlies last night, and I think they're going to close this game. I got to look and see if they're up 3-1 or 2-1. I think they're up 3-1 if I'm not mistaken, but I think LeBron's going to close this out. I'm not a LeBron fan at all. I'm really not. I'm not a LeBron fan, but it is what it is when you're putting money on the line. So I think LeBron's going to take it home tonight, and I think he's going to get at least, like, he had 49 PRA last game against the Grizzlies. Now, I don't really see anybody that can stop him. Dylan Brooks can't stop him. Jaren Jackson can't stop him. And then Donovan Mitchell, I have him getting less than 29.5 points against the Knicks. Donovan Mitchell has been awful this series. The last game he had he had 11 points against the Knicks yesterday or 2 days ago. So I got him getting under 29.5. I think he'll probably get around like 25 points tonight. All right, guys. You guys let me know what you guys think. Health Commanders. Peace.